Hello guys, and this is day 2 of our adventure here in Barcelona. Actually, day 2, day 1.5. And yesterday I went out to have some, I had a burrito and a couple of drinks here in my hostel. I decided not to venture further into the Barcelona since I just didn't have enough energy, and I decided to, have an early night and call it a day around 10 or 11 p.m. Actually, it was 11. Anyways, it's a bit chilly, but I hope the situation will improve. And today we'll be discovering the second part of the city. I hope I'll be able to travel more. Yesterday I just walked. We'll see how it works. So yeah, that's that. Guys, I hope that as always we'll learn something together, and I'll speak to you soon. But breakfast first.
The next morning we start early at El Fornet on Consell de Cent 355, a bakery chain that has become a kind of survival hack for travelers in central Barcelona. It's one of the few places where you can still get a coffee and pastry for around €4, which feels almost rare in this part of the city. From there, we step straight into the world of Antoni Gaudí. Our first stop is Casa Batlló, rebuilt between 1904 and 1906. The building is often described as Gaudí at his most imaginative. The facade is inspired by the legend of St. George and the Dragon, a story deeply rooted in Catalan culture. The roof resembles the curved spine of a dragon, while the balconies look like bone fragments or skull masks. Nothing here is accidental. Just a short walk away, we reach Casa Milà, completed in 1912. When it was first finished, it was heavily criticized by locals who nicknamed it La Pedrera, meaning stone quarry, because of its rough, wave-like facade. Over time, the same feature became its greatest strength. The building has no straight lines, which was revolutionary at the time, and its rooftop is one of the most surreal architectural spaces in the city, with chimney structures that look like abstract stone warriors standing guard over Barcelona. We continue to Casa Vicens, built between 1883 and 1885, which was Gaudí's first major residential project. Compared to his later works, it feels more geometric and structured, but it already shows his fascination with natural patterns and exotic influences. The colorful tiles are inspired by Moorish design, and the ironwork blends botanical shapes with architectural precision. It's almost like seeing the beginning of Gaudí's visual language before it fully evolved into his more famous surreal style. For a quick break, we stop for a simple lunch, just toast and orange juice for around €4. After that, we head to one of the most striking but less crowded landmarks in the city, the Sant Pau Recinte Modernista, completed in 1930. It was originally built as a hospital complex, but not in the traditional sense. Instead of single building, it was designed as a healing city, with separate pavilions for different treatments, surrounded by gardens and connected through underground tunnels. The idea was that architecture itself could contribute to recovery by creating light, space, and nature around patients. At this point, we make our way towards the city center and briefly pass Sagrada Família. Even from the outside, it's overwhelming. Construction began in 1882, and more than a century later, it's still unfinished. The scale is massive, and despite the constant crowds of tourists, it's hard not to focus purely on the architecture, the towers, the sculpted facades, and Gaudí's vision of a cathedral that feels like a forest carved in stone.
We visited the old hospital that was transformed into Art Nouveau UNESCO heritage site, and I decided not to go inside simply because I believe that €17 is way too expensive. So I just went around it, filmed a little bit, visited the church, which was amazing, also Art Nouveau. And then I started walking towards the most famous site here in Barcelona, which is of course the Sagrada Família church, which was okay. I mean, which was good. I didn't go inside because of the waiting time and because of the price. But I think it looks good enough from the outside. So now it's time for La Rambla and the second part of the city. I hope I'll have enough time till 6 p.m. actually, and we'll be able to visit everything before the sunset. So I'll speak to you guys soon. Cheers.
We continue through Plaça de Catalunya, the central square that connects the old city with the Eixample district. It's always busy, filled with movement, fountains and pigeons, acting almost like the true zero point of Barcelona. From there we pass Barri Gothic, the Gothic Quarter, where narrow medieval streets suddenly open into hidden squares. This area contains one of the oldest layers of the city, including Roman foundations and medieval walls. We also pass the Catedral de Barcelona, formerly the Cathedral of the Holy Cross and Saint Eulalia, built mainly between the 13th and 15th centuries. Just nearby are remnants of Roman towers, still visible in parts of the old city walls, showing how deeply Barcelona is layered with history. Before leaving the Gothic area, we walk past the inscription, "The world begins with every kiss," a small but poetic reminder of the city's artistic spirit. We continue through Plaça Reial, a neoclassical square known for its palm trees, arcades, and Gaudí designed street lamps. It feels like a calmer pocket hidden just off La Rambla. We also pass Palau Güell, one of the Gaudí's early works, completed in 1888. Built for industrialist Eusebi Güell, it already shows experimental use of light and space that would later define his larger projects. Nearby is the Monument à Colomb, the Columbus monument from 1888, standing at the end of La Rambla and pointing toward the sea, symbolizing Christopher Columbus's voyage to the Americas. We also pass the Maritime Museum of Barcelona, located in the historic Royal Shipyards, a massive Gothic structure where ships were built from the 13th century onwards.
Right guys, so we have just visited the Maritime Museum here in Barcelona. After 3 p.m. every Sunday, you can enter for free. Which is a good news, I think. Because I'm not sure where I would pay for it, like, I think it's like 15 euros.
As evening falls, I walk back slowly through the city streets to the hostel, grab a burrito, and call it a night. The next morning, I wake up early and head back to Valencia. After just 48 hours in Barcelona, I'm left with mixed feelings. On the one hand, the city is genuinely beautiful, full of surprises, incredible architecture, and world-class museums that feel like they are everywhere you turn. But on the other hand, it feels expensive to the point where it feels difficult to fully experience without a big budget. It also feels extremely crowded, especially in the historic areas. And I can understand why locals often feel overwhelmed by tourism. Still, despite everything, I would go back. Not necessarily for the crowds or the prices, but for the architecture, the art, and the feeling that there's always another layer of the city I haven't seen yet. Cost: breakfast 4 euros, early lunch 4 euros, Palau Güell 15 euros, Maritime Museum of Barcelona free, dinner 10 euros, hostel one night 21 euros, total 53.90. I hope you've enjoyed this episode of Walking the World. Please like and subscribe. Keep dreaming, keep exploring, keep living your best life. Hasta luego.